Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and the combined graduation of Companies A, B, and C of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, 4th Training Brigade. The purpose of today's ceremony is to recognize the commitment of the young men and women in uniform in formation before you who have chosen to serve their country as soldiers. This review is the last formal formation of the training cycle. Not everyone successfully completes this difficult period of training, but for those who do, those in formation today represent disciplined, motivated, physically fit soldiers. This is an important day, and they can take great pride in their accomplishment. Please direct your attention to the left of the formation. The units participating in today's ceremony from your left to right are the 282nd Army Victory Band, graduating soldiers from A, B, and C companies of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. Identified by their campaign hats are the drill sergeants of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. These dedicated men and women form the backbone of the Army's training center system. Selected on the basis of professional competence, leadership ability, and years of service, these men and women undergo intensive training to earn the right to wear their distinctive campaign hats and insignia. With the campaign hat goes the important responsibility of molding young men and women into soldiers.
Sound attention!
The commander of troops for today's ceremony is First Lieutenant Ronald L. Campbell, who serves as the operations officer for the battalion. He and his staff are now taking their positions on the field.
Up there! Full! Order! Up! Order! Full!
The reviewing officer for today's ceremony is Lieutenant Colonel Robert E. Smith, the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. On his left is Sergeant Major Charles G. Tate, the Command Sergeant Major of the battalion.
Order! Up! Order! Full!
The commander of troops will now bring forward the colors and persons to be honored.
Persons to be honored and colors! Sit!
hallmarks of professionalism. The soldiers coming forward will be recognized for their excellence in training and duty performance and serve as an example to all. When the colors are forward, we will render honors to our nation by salute and playing of the national anthem. It is appropriate for those not in uniform to place their right hand over their heart.
Present! On! Present! On! Present! On!
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Bring your unit to order arms and parade red! Order! On! Parade red! Order! On! Parade red!
The reviewing officer, Lieutenant Colonel Smith, and Sergeant Major Tate will now present the awards. The following soldiers are award recipients of Company A, 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, for having distinguished himself by exceptional leadership and instructional abilities as the outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle is Staff Sergeant Gregory W. Steele from Panama City, Florida. Having demonstrated superior performance of duty, outstanding soldier of the cycle is Private Brian K. Dunn from Williamsburg, Iowa. Private Dunn and all soldiers of the cycle are also receiving certificates of commendation from the Association of the United States Army and a free membership. Having demonstrated exceptional leadership abilities, outstanding soldier leader of the cycle is Private First Class John M. Fleming from Columbia, South Carolina. Private Fleming and all soldier leaders of the cycle are also receiving certificates of commendation from the Association of the United States Army and a free membership. Having demonstrated outstanding basic rifle marksmanship for hitting 38 out of a possible 40 targets are Specialist Keith Craig from Alexandria, Virginia. Private First Class Russell D. Lewis from Webb City, Missouri. Private Rodney A. Murphy from Orlando, Florida. Private Paul A. Kaminsky from Hatley, Wisconsin. Private Edward J. Leone from Syracuse, New York. And Private Matthew Hollingsworth from Crete, Illinois. Attaining the highest score on the end of cycle physical training test, scoring 294 out of a possible 300 points, is Specialist Christopher R. Forsyth from Cary, North Carolina. The following soldiers are award recipients of Company B, 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. For having distinguished himself by his exceptional leadership and instructional abilities as the outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle is Sergeant First Class Patrick Muscovich from Coppers Cove, Texas. Having demonstrated superior performance of duty, outstanding soldier of the cycle is Private James Marino from Glen Rock, New Jersey. Having demonstrated exceptional leadership abilities, outstanding soldier leader of the cycle is Private Marcus A. Robertson from Houston, Texas. Private Robertson also attained the highest score on the end of cycle physical training test, scoring 283 out of a possible 300 points. Having demonstrated outstanding basic rifle marksmanship for hitting 38 out of a possible 40 targets is Private Kevin W. Fortner from Hendersonville, Tennessee. The following soldiers are award recipients of Company C, 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. For having distinguished himself by his exceptional leadership and instructional abilities as the outstanding drill sergeant of the cycle is Staff Sergeant Kenneth Davis from Clayton, Alabama. A certificate and bouquet of flowers is now being presented to his wife, Mrs. Shantae Davis, in recognition of her dedication, devotion, and perseverance in support of her husband's outstanding achievement. Having demonstrated superior performance of duty, outstanding Having demonstrated exceptional leadership abilities, outstanding soldier leader of the cycle is Private Melissa Sheehan from Prior Lake, Minnesota. Having demonstrated outstanding basic rifle marksmanship for hitting 38 out of a possible 40 targets is Private First Class Tanya R. Williams from Bola G, Alabama. Attaining the highest score on the end of cycle physical training test, scoring 281 out of a possible 300 points, is Private First Class Kerry O'Connell from Watertown, New York. For exceptional professionalism and dedication to excellence in support of the effective accomplishment of the unit's total mission, the Battalion Service Support of the Cycle Award is presented to Mrs. Carol M. Barlow, who serves as the Program Analyst at the Durham Information Center. For demonstrating outstanding performance of duty as an instructor while supporting the unit's soldier training program, the battalion's Training Support of the Cycle Award is presented to Staff Sergeant Leroy Williams, Staff Sergeant Rodney S. Ridley, and Staff Sergeant Teddy K. Smith, who served as the cadre members of Range 14. Accepting the award is Staff Sergeant Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, Lieutenant Colonel Robert E. Smith.
General and Mrs. Siegfried, General and Mrs. Chilcote, Colonel and Mrs. Dixon, family, friends, and most importantly, the soldiers of the 39th Infantry Regiment. The day that you all worked so hard for has finally arrived. The day in which you are recognized for your many accomplishments during basic combat training, but also the day in which the seriousness of the profession you have just joined becomes a distinct reality. Suddenly, the events in Somalia, Bosnia, and other dangerous places in the world take on a different meaning. These are places that, although few know the exact location of, many question our reasons for involvement, just as they did during the past 10 years in places like Grenada, Panama, and Kuwait. The critics would have you believe that we had no business getting involved in any of these conflicts, that these events were not serious nor important to us because they happened in other nations far away from our own. However, you now, more than others, realize that this world is not a safe place, that there are situations within it that call for someone with guts to confront tyranny and oppression wherever it arises, and to stand up and say, no more. Soldiers, that someone is you. You must go to the troubled places in this world and do the things that others would say they want no part of. The purpose of your profession is best understood through the words of Teddy Roosevelt, an old soldier just like you, who believed that the true measure of someone was his willingness to stand up and try to do his best, to try and make a difference. He wrote that it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbled, or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marked by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, and spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the least knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while doing greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Soldiers, be proud of yourself and what you've accomplished to this point in your young careers. Stand up for what you believe in. Have faith in your country, and continue to grow in the knowledge that what you do each day truly does make a positive difference in this world. May God help the critic of your profession and its ideals to understand that as long as tyranny exists, there will be a United States Army, proud and ready. Anything, anywhere, anytime, or nothing. Thank you.
Our Constitution is a living document which is at work each day our country exists as a free and independent nation. Its freedoms are meant to be enjoyed by all, yet in all of its strength, our Constitution will only remain intact and alive through your determination and dedication to its continued existence. The uniform you wear at this moment is more than an outward display of your vocational choice. That uniform is a symbol of a nation and an unspoken assurance to all who see you that you are a dedicated, willing, and competent protector of the Constitution of the United States of America. You have become what you set out to be, a soldier in the United States Army, and through this reconfirmation of your oath as a soldier, a protector of our nation's Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as these young soldiers reaffirm the oath of allegiance to the Constitution of the United States of America. Those military personnel in the audience who wish to participate may do so.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Pass and review.
Pass and review.
We ask that all spectators remain in your seats during the remainder of the ceremony. We realize that you may like pictures of your soldier marching in review today, and we have videotaped this event along with segments of the previous 8 weeks of training. You may order one of these videotapes from the ordering points to the rear of the bleachers immediately following the pass and review. Passing the reviewing stand is the commander of troops, First Lieutenant Ronald L. Campbell and his staff. The 282nd Army Victory Band, commanded by Chief Warrant Officer Bruce Smith. The drum major is Sergeant First Class Strickland. Company A, 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, commanded by Captain Barry Hodges. Ladies and gentlemen, as the colors approach your location, we ask that you please rise and remain standing until they have passed. rear of the formation is First Sergeant Donald McFall. Company B, 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment, commanded by Captain Stephanie L. Foster. In the rear of the formation is First Sergeant Stephen W. Burgess. Company C, commanded by Captain Gary Wright. In the rear of the formation is Sergeant First Class Frederick U. Dumlau. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Army Song. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. You have just observed the graduation of Companies A, B, and C of the 2nd Battalion, 39th Infantry Regiment. On behalf of the Commanding General and the men and women of this battalion, thank you for being with us this morning.
Videorama is part of the Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Division of Fort Jackson. All revenues received from this project and other MWR activities go toward improving the quality of life for all the soldiers at Fort Jackson and toward providing a community of excellence.